So today we'll be talking about one of the things that infuriates me the most, that pisses me off the most, and is the I can get my water bottle because this is gonna be a long doozy video, okay? But one thing that's always infuriated me is the whole idea that animation is for kids, Nintendo is for kids, Sonic is for kids, and all of these IPs are just for fucking kids, okay? And this is one of the dumbest things that I think society has ever thought up of. Oh my god, a character is cartoony means it's for kids, okay? A character is cartoony means it's for kids, okay? That is a problem, okay? That is a problem, okay? People need to give up these ideas that cartoons are for kids, okay? I'm not talking about are for kids, I'm saying they're just for kids. Only kids can enjoy animated movies. Only kids can enjoy cartoons. Only kids can enjoy Nintendo and Nintendo-style games. Only kids can enjoy this stuff. It is so fucking irritating and so fucking annoying, okay? And it's mostly the older people who think this way. It is mostly older people who think this way, okay? Okay, cartoons and anime as well. There are people who argue that anime is for kids, okay? Like Andrew Tate is saying that anyone who's over 15 who still watches animes needs to grow up. Like, really? This is a older people problem. Older people think this way because they see that because of the course. And we all know the reason why. It's Hollywood. Hollywood is the main reason why people think this way, okay? Hollywood, the media, ads. What do you see in most ads for Nintendo games? You see kids, okay? What do you see ads from Disney movies and Disney shows? Even back to the 90s and 2000s. Oh, you see kids, okay? Advertising and Hollywood have a big reasoning why many people view this stuff as for kids. They see animation as kiddie and for kids, okay? That's why studios are willing to axe animation so quickly over live action stuff. That's why studios are willing to make everything animation to live action, because live action isn't seen as kids. Live action isn't seen as kids, so we must make sure the Lion King isn't live action. Okay, even though the Lion King live action remake sucks, Aladdin live action remake sucks. The animated shows will always and always be the superior products. Okay, they'll always and always be the superior products. Okay, but the problem is Hollywood. The problem is boomers as well. Okay, boomers, and even Gen X still have this idea that animation is for kids. While millennials and Gen Z don't. So we're going to probably start to see a shift in the next 20, 30 years that animation is for kids, because it's really stupid that people think that animation is for kids. Some of the best stories and some of the best storytelling is in animated movies and in cartoons, okay? But for example, sometimes I love to watch the old Tom and Jerry cartoons because they are really funny. They're much more funnier than most of the unfunny modern day cartoons, okay? Okay. And though the matter how many times I watch Tom and Jerry, they're always enjoyable. Okay. Same thing with animated movies. Movies like The Lion King, movies like Toy Story and stuff. This is the best animated movies list. Okay. Regardless of my opinions on some of these movies, like, I know The Incredibles is gonna show up on this list, and the Lego Movie. Do not like both of those movies. I think they're both mediocre movies in my opinion, but most people like those movies. And most of the best animated movies of all time have really good stories. They have really good stories. They have really good stories. They're very relatable to many people, and they can be passed down from generation to generation because people love these stories. People love these stories, basically. And the fact that people think that animation, okay, is this whole genre that's just only kids will watch, and the animation is something that people grow out of. Like this is what the expectation that I thought was. Oh, I would eventually grow out of Pokemon. I would eventually grow out of animated game movies. I would eventually grow out of watching cartoons, which I don't really watch cartoons anymore because I don't really watch TV anymore. But I'll grow out of watching animated movies. I'll grow out of watching animation. I'll grow out of playing, Nintendo. I'll grow out of playing all this stuff. Okay, but I am now an adult, and I can stay essentially that this is all bullshit. This is all stupid. You don't grow. The only things you really grow out of is like baby toys and stuff. Okay, you really only grow out of baby toys. Okay, that's the only thing you grow out. Maybe you grow out of stuffed animals, but there's still a lot of people in their 30s who still have a teddy bear, who still have a stuffed animal that they sleep with every night. But it's something that you grow out of. Like this is the stupidest thing I have ever heard. You grow out of it. You don't grow out of anything. Okay, yes, I don't believe in Santa and the Tooth Fairy anymore, but that is my choice and my decision to not believe in Santa and the Tooth Fairy. There are still many adults who still believe in the Tooth Fairy, who still believe in Santa Claus, okay? It's not something that people grow out of. Like, it's stupid. Okay, it's stupid. Okay, to say that you grow out of something, okay? You don't grow out of watching animated movies. What you do is you pass them down to the new generations, to your kids. These are stories that you enjoy with your family, or you enjoy on your own. Okay? So, for example, there are entire YouTube channels that dedicate themselves to watching animated movies, to watching cartoons. Yes, and these are adults too. Entire YouTube channels that dedicate themselves to talking about animated movies, animated villains, animated characters, because these characters are so impactful, are so amazing and so great. The fact that they have their own genre to themselves. Nintendo, that's why Nintendo, there's entire YouTube channels that are dedicated alone solely to talking about Mario, Kirby, and Pokemon. There's a whole entire YouTube genre that's dedicated to fucking Pokemon. But we're supposed to grow out of fucking Pokemon. We're supposed to grow out of Pokemon. It's something that we're supposed to grow out of. Oh, but you'll grow out of Pokemon eventually. You'll grow out of Mario eventually. You'll grow out of Disney movies eventually and grow up. Okay? And every time I talk to like older people about Disney movies, that's what they always say. Oh, but kids are the main reasons why Disney movies are popular. The main reason why Disney movies make so much money. Okay? And yes, there's a large part to the families going to go watch anime movies. But there was this meme about Finding Dory that, the expectation is families, taking their kids to go see the movie. But the reality is a lot of older people are going to see the movies as well because they grew up with Finding Nemo. They grew up with watching Finding Nemo. They grew up with watching that story and they want to see that story continued. Same thing with the Mario movie. It's the same thing with the Sonic movies. Okay, yes, when I watched Sonic movie and the fetus, there were some families in there, but there were a lot of older people going to see the movie as well. Mostly millennials, obviously, but people. I'm saying older people. I'm saying people older than the age of 18. Same thing with the whole Gentle Minions trend. And they are shocked at the fact that there were so many millennials and Gen Zers going to go watch Minions: The Rise of Gru and Fetus. And they were so shocked because they thought that the Minions: The Rise of Gru would only have appeal towards little kids. They seriously thought that the only people who would watch the Minions: The Rise of Gru would be fucking kids. Okay? It's the same thing on Nintendo. Okay? The same thing on Nintendo games. Okay? Okay? Search up Nintendo YouTubers. Okay? A lot of Nintendo YouTubers are people who grew up with Nintendo. A lot of people who love Nintendo and love Nintendo games are people who grew up with Nintendo and want their lives to revolve around the stuff they grew up with. Okay, Nintendo games. Okay, I still play Nintendo games. I played the most recent Kirby game, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I still play Smash Bros. Occasionally. Okay, I still play Nintendo games occasionally. Okay, I still play I'll probably play in the next Mario game when the next big Mario game comes out. Okay, but we're supposed to grow out of Nintendo. That's the whole thing. That's what the whole thing they're telling you. Is that we have to grow out of playing Nintendo. We have to grow out of watching animated movies. We have to grow out of watching cartoons. We have to grow up and start and be adults. That's the whole thing. Okay? And The whole thing is saying that, but if you watch play Nintendo games, that's growing up. Okay, growing up is moving on from Nintendo, moving on from animated movies, moving on from all this stuff that is deemed for kids. Okay, deemed for kids. Okay, even though they're finally starting to realize that, hey, maybe not just kids watch, Minions. Maybe not just kids watch the Sonic movies. Maybe not, and of course the parents, obviously, and babysitters. Not just kids are the only people who are interested in watching the Sonic movie. Maybe not just kids are the only people who play Sonic Frontier, who want to play Sonic Frontiers and play Pac-Man World. Repack was a two recent, look at Sonic Frontiers and how critically acclaimed, like, the critics don't care too much about Sonic Frontiers, but every Sonic fan is giving the game such high scores because they want to play a Sonic game they actually like. Okay, why is Mario Odyssey considered one of the greatest games of all time? I'm proud of so much so-called adult games like The Last of Us and Halo. Why these games are so popular. Okay, let's look at the greatest games of all time. Okay, the greatest games, and and Zelda is so popular because Zelda appeals towards more older audiences. Same thing with Fire Emblem, same thing. But the greatest video game of all time, according to people, is Minecraft. But Minecraft, for many people, is still seen as a kid's game. Even though there's so many adults who still play Minecraft. There's still so many adults who love to express their creativity, who just love to play the game in survival mode as well. Okay. The second best, then there was Ocarina of Time, which held the title for such a long time. Skyrim, and then we have Smash Bros, a Nintendo game. Mario 64, Nintendo game. Mario Galaxy, Nintendo game. Smash Bros Ultimate, Nintendo game. So half the games on the top 10 best games of all time are made by Nintendo. Okay, they're all Mario and Zelda games, and Smash Bros games, but they're all Nintendo games. They go further down, Mario games, and like almost like half the games on the list are like Mario and Zelda games and Nintendo made games. Okay, but again, we're supposed to grow out of Nintendo games. We're supposed to grow out of playing Nintendo games. We're supposed to grow out of playing Nintendo games. And yes, animated games all have pretty good stories. They all are pretty good. A lot of animated games have pretty good stories, pretty good characters. But the fact that we're supposed to grow out of Nintendo games, the fact that we're supposed to grow out of watching animated movies, we're supposed to grow out of this stuff is ridiculous. And it's treated as an expectation too. It's treated as an expectation as well. Okay. They'll have to grow out of this stuff. We have to grow out of Nintendo games. We have to grow out all of this stuff. We have to grow out of the animated movies as well. But this narrative is slowly going away. Because most of Gen Z and most millennials, at least are finally starting to realize, hey, we don't associate with this stuff. We don't relate to growing out of anymore. It's not expectation anymore. Okay? And I think in the future generations, this won't be an expectation anymore. Animation will be treated, and Nintendo games and Nintendo-like games will be treated. Doom's on the list. That's not surprising. I wonder if people voting for the original Doom or they're voting for the 2016 version, because there's Doom, the old Doom, and then there's the 2016 Doom as well. But why is there's still a lot of people who play Pokemon, who still play Mario games, who still play Nintendo games. There's still a lot of people who still play animated games like Halo as a series, and I'm not talking about Halo 4 and 5, have a great story. Okay, Halo games have a pretty great story, especially Halos 1 through 3 and Halo Reach and Halo 3 ODST. All those games have a great story as well. But saying that games like Banjo-Kazooie, saying games like Sonic and Crash Bandicoot, Pac-Man, and Mario are all for kids is the most ridiculous thing. Saying DreamWorks movies, Disney movies, or not modern Disney movies suck, but Pixar, they're all for kids. Only kids can enjoy those movies. It's ridiculous. And it's something that's gonna fade out throughout time as the boomers, and Gen X, will exert their influence over society as well. Okay, people will start to finally realize, hey, maybe this stuff is not for kids. But I think the bigger problem is that, of course, wokeness, obviously. But and a lot of Nintendo games are on this list, despite being so called for kids. Obviously, or games like I don't think Cuphead is for kids. Oh, it's rated E10 plus, so that means it's technically for kids. But and again, some of the most inventive stories and some of the greatest and most inventive games are, of course, so-called kids games. Okay, Pokemon as a IP is one of the most innovative games of all time. Okay, and no other game that has tried to replicate Pokemon has ever tried to rip off Pokemon. Every game, even Digimon, everything that tried to copy Pokemon is nowhere near as popular as Pokemon. Temtem, Digimon, Yokai Watts, everything that has tried to use the same concept as Pokemon is not as popular as Pokemon. Okay, because Pokemon, of course, was the first to its idea as well. But of course, all of the greatest games of all time, a lot of people who consider some of the greatest games of all time are Nintendo games. Okay, and same with greatest movies as well. You'll still see a lot of animated movies made by Pixar and DreamWorks on that list because a lot of those movies are loved and beloved by people of all ages. So I hope that we stop with this whole idea that animation, Nintendo, cartoons, it's the same thing with cartoons as well, are for kids. Okay, and not of course not just Nintendo, it's games like Sonic as well. And I'm glad that people are finally starting to realize because a lot of these movies and animated stories, animated games and cartoons all have very good characters, all have very great stories, all have relatable stories as well. And yes, even like the slice of life cartoons all can have relatable things that people can learn lessons from, both adults and non-adults. Okay, as well. Okay, here and it's the same thing with anime too, but anime it's much more harder. Cause you watch, Dire the Fakes or Demon Slayer, those animes are not for kids. Okay? Okay, like Dire the Fakes literally has nudity and so yeah, definitely not for kids. Anime is much more harder for them to say anime is for kids. It's definitely much more harder for them to say anime is for kids. Because a lot of anime has blood in it as well. Like Dragon Ball Z has blood in it as well. A lot of anime, they're more realistic than, cartoons are, But again, there's still a lot of people who are still like Andrew Tate that are still trying to say that anime is for kids. Okay? Like, seriously, this is stupid. It's dumb. And like Death Note. Okay, if you ever watched Death Note again, you know Death Note is not for kids. Okay, Dragon Ball Z, obviously Dragon Ball Z is more like in the PG-13 superhero movie category. It is not in the PG like modern like Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball Super is PG, but Dragon Ball Z, the original older Dragon Ball Z is PG-13 as well. Okay, Naruto as well. Okay, you definitely cannot tell me that Naruto, which, like in the first episode, like Naruto, you literally had a whole entire group of people massacred. That was like one of the first things that was talked about. Like, it was a massacre of an entire race of people, which is the Uchiha. Clans in Naruto are basically akin to races in real life, basically. The Uchiha was a distinct group of people, and they were basically killed. Oh yeah, totally for kids. Totally for kids. Attack on Titan is that, yeah, most anime, like, it's much harder for them to say anime is for kids. I think they've already given up on saying anime is for kids, obviously. I think they've given up on the whole idea that anime is for kids. Kids idea. And yes, there was anime created for younger audiences, but many anime is anime is much more mature than cartoons. Like, anime is, I think, more popular among people than cartoons now, because anime, it's kind of like, PG-13. Most anime is kind of like PG-13, as well. There's blood, many anime have blood in it, okay, but yeah, a lot of anime is not for kids, okay, most anime is not for kids, maybe Pokemon, but even then, we talk about Pokemon, people of young and old can relate to Pokemon as a series, okay, yeah, Pokemon is intended to target young people, target kids, but Pokemon can be enjoyed by older people as well, That's the whole point I'm getting at. Okay, yes, the target demographic for like games like Mario, Kirby, Pokemon, and of course Disney movies. And I find there's this whole meme like target demographic for Pokemon, kids, and then you get old like 30-year-olds as the audience, and target demographic for Call of Duty 30-year-olds. Most of the people, a lot of people who play Call of Duty are fucking kids. Okay, fucking kids. Same thing with Halo. Okay. A lot of people who play Call of Duty, a lot of people who play Halo are kids. Okay? Same thing with Overwatch. A lot of people who play Overwatch are kids. TF2. A lot of people who play TF2 are kids. Okay? But yeah, that's basically about this long video I made. It's a rant. But yeah, it's a much needed one as well. So, goodbye.